What's up guys? So in this video, I'm going to be going over the email funnel. So this email funnel is the email funnel that's generated our clients over $50 million in revenue over the last few years. We've went through many iterations of this exact funnel, and what I'm about to show you is the version that we currently have. In the future, obviously, we're going to improve on it, etc., and constantly work on this. However, what I've essentially put together for you in this video is the thing that every single brand needs across the board, and it's stuff that we implement for literally every single one of the accounts that we manage. I've broken this video down into 3 primary categories, as it's kind of like how I think about email marketing as a whole. Number 1 being list health and growth, because if you don't have a growing and healthy list, there's nothing to run email marketing to, right? The next branch that I'm going to be covering is going to be flows and automations. So that would be emails that are sent sequentially based on some sort of on-site behavior. The final branch when it comes to email marketing is the campaign side of things. These are one-time emails that are blasted to a very specific subset or segment of your list. And just to, add some social proof, because it might be the first time you guys come across me, this actually works. Today you can see it's April the 17th. I took these screenshots as I was about to record these videos, and you can see we work with a bunch of 7- and 8-figure brands, and it works every single time across the board, helping brands add anywhere from 20 all the way up to 75% of revenue on a monthly basis. So you can see this brand, we're doing 28.78%, 37.88, 22.08, 55, 22, 45 again. The reason why there's so much variance, by the way, is because it's heavily niche dependent on where your ceiling is when it comes to email marketing, depending on factors like your average order value, if you're selling, let's say, consumable products, like if there's repurchasability in your product cycles. And for example, the dropshipping brands that we work with, the repeat customer rate on those types of stores are going to be much lower compared to if there was brand equity built with your customers over many, many years. So there's a lot of factors that actually play into the percentage. And if you want to figure out kind of like what your ceiling is as a brand when it comes to email marketing right now, then the best way to do that is just to hop on a call with me, because I can basically run a free audit for your brand and I'll be able to tell you like what kind of results you can essentially expect. So let's move on to the core components of email marketing. I'll just break down the 3 categories on screen for you right now. When it comes to lists and segments, there's essentially a core workflow that every single lead follows, right? You drive traffic to your website, there's some sort of lead capture mechanism, whether it be a lead capture page or a pop-up or some sort of opt-in form, embedded form, whatever. That then goes onto your database, leading to list growth right here. And then that will eventually, once you send them a series of emails over an extended period of time, there's either one of 2 things that can happen. They can either churn, aka they unsubscribe, or they convert into a customer. Those are the literal only 2 outcomes. If they're on your list, you're continuously marketing to them, and if they leave your list, they churn, or they become a customer and become a repeating customer as well, right? Now, how that list churn and conversion mechanism actually takes place is through either flows or through campaigns, right? So when it comes to the flows and automation side of things, this is what the funnel essentially looks like. If you think about this in a traditional paid ads funnel, just think like meta ads, for example, right? You have your pre-purchase, aka your top of funnel, right? And your post-purchase, which is like things like your custom audiences, like purchase last 30 days, 90 days, 365 days, etc., right? And pre-purchase flows can be thought of in the exact same way when it comes to breaking down your retargeting audiences on meta ads, right? As soon as someone signs up onto your list through the pop-up, they are then sent the lead nurture sequence, aka like your welcome series, right? And from there, they can either continue on the site journey or become a customer right away. But if they don't become a customer right away, the idea is each of these flows, when it comes to the pre-purchase side of things, will then seamlessly feed them into the next cycle of their customer journey. So they might choose to click through to the website, right? They view a product page maybe, but if they don't add anything to cart or start checkout or place an order, you can send them the abandoned product flow, or some people call it the browse abandonment flow, right? But if they added something to cart but didn't check out, you would then send them the abandoned cart flow, abandoned checkout flow, etc. The idea is to feed them from on-site behavior into some sort of placed order metric onto your store. Now, after their first order, this is where your post-purchase flows comes in. So as soon as someone places an order, you would send them things like the customer thank you flow, and then that would flow into some sort of data collection workflow, which data collection just means gathering more reviews and social proof for your website, which is going to be super important, or gathering reviews and data for external review sites like Trustpilot, etc., or even surveying your customers, asking them for product ideas or how they would actually improve the customer journey for themselves, like what was the problems that they had during the placed order stages. Maybe they waited a little too long, maybe they wanted a bit more communication, maybe they wanted improvements on customer service response times, or maybe they have some suggestions for how to improve your current product that they actually just bought, or give you some suggestions on stuff that they would like to buy in the future. It's massively useful when it comes to data collection to automate it through flows. After a while, you would want to send them the customer win back flow. There's also things like the replenishment reminders if you were to sell a consumable product. And then lastly, if they haven't shown much engagement with your email marketing for a while, then you may want to put them through the sunset unengaged flow to actively clean them out of your regular sending pools, right? And the idea is if you do all of this, you're going to maximize the percentage of customers that actually repurchase from your brand. Now, when it comes to campaigns, essentially 3 core things are needed when it comes to achieving optimal results with email blasts. You need consistency, you need relevant segmentation, which maintains good engagement as well as deliverability, and lastly, you need great content, right? And I have some resources that I've actually put together when I go on to explaining this section in depth that I'll just like email to you guys for free, and I'll show you guys how to actually get access to that in a second. Now, when it comes to lists and segments, essentially it just talks about like the core of email marketing, right? The core of email marketing is that it's first-party data, like you as the brand own the underlying asset. First-party data just means that you have a way of reaching this customers. You have a way of reaching these audiences at any given time, any given place without really any hard restrictions, right? So for example, the difference between first-party data and third-party data is first-party data would be things like phone numbers, email addresses, whereas third-party data would be data that doesn't actually belong to you. It belongs to a third-party platform like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Google, right? They own the underlying data and you're simply renting it from them through things like paid social, even organic, like your account could get banned, it could get shadow banned, it could get restricted. Social media algorithms may change, right? Whereas with email marketing, you can always reach the segment of customers 24/7. And I've already explained like the cycle of list growth is basically traffic to your site, conversion mechanism, etc. So I won't dive in too much into that. But essentially, when it comes to the capture mechanism, the most optimal way of growing your list is just through things like a pop-up form. And I'll explain why right now, because we've worked with a lot of clients, and over the past few years, we've been experimenting with other list growth mechanisms, such as running lead gen ads, doing collaborations, giveaways, partnerships with other brands to share the data, and just many things. But what we've actually discovered is the relationship between the quality of leads and the volume of leads is inverse. So the higher volume of leads that you're able to capture, aka like the faster you grow the list, generally speaking, your quality of the list goes down. And just think about it like this, right? Let's say you drive 100 people to your website. 3 of them would be perfect fit for you guys in terms of customers. There might be 7 that's like kind of on the fence, right? And then there's another 10 that's just like not super relevant, but they would opt into something like a giveaway list capture mechanism or something like that. So the idea is as you expand list growth rates, you expand the volume on leads and you essentially widen like that pool of targeting, and inevitably the quality of the list goes down, right? So essentially what we've discovered is that when running things like Facebook lead gen ads and doing paid collaborations with other brands or influencers to grow your list, we've generally seen a really high volume of leads come in, but the quality of those leads diminish a lot. So therefore, a lot of the time, investing into list growth doesn't always bring the highest ROI. There are a few ways with, you know, apps like Black Crow that we've chosen to partner with, that always brings a really good return. But generally speaking, you're trading off a volume of leads for the quality of the leads. So when it comes to the most effective way of list growth, it's pop-ups, right? And these are some of the pop-ups that we've built fairly recently actually for brands, and they are definitely outperforming a lot of the native ones that we see that the brands were running before they actually came on board with us. And you can see, like, in terms of just aesthetically, the pop-ups that we come up with is just a lot better compared to what you may have on your Klaviyo accounts. And when configured with the right behaviors, and if you were to compress the images in a certain way to improve load time, it makes a huge difference to the actual conversion rates of the pop-up mechanisms themselves. If you want like a swipe file of all of the pop-ups, I haven't actually put it together yet, but if you sign up to my mailing list, I'll send you a vault of resources with a bunch of the stuff that we've essentially built in the past so that you can draw inspiration from and use for yourself as well. Now, when it comes to flows and automations, I'll be making dedicated tutorials for literally each of these flows right here, as well as the post-purchase stuff right here as well. And that's going to be coming onto my channel in the coming weeks and months, just because in total, the course that I'm about to publish on YouTube is going to be around 20 to 25-ish tutorials long. It's going to take me a while to put together, but I'm going to be putting them into a playlist. And if you were to sign up to Ecom Elite's email list, which is my mailing list talking about e-commerce growth and just giving you guys tips around how to scale your brand, you can sign up to my mailing list, and as these tutorials come up and as I complete the course, I'll just send you an email telling you, hey, it's live on YouTube. So if you find it useful, sign up to the mailing list. The thing about flows, if done correctly, can add anywhere from 10 to 30% of revenue to your brand. Again, the fluctuation, the difference in range is simply due to variables like your average order value, if you're selling consumable products, your repeat purchasing rates, the niche you're in, etc. So that's why I give a pretty wide range, because we've worked with so many niches now to where we've basically achieved like the upper limits for every single product category. Now, when it comes to campaigns, it's essentially like a three-part equation. You can see I've left this slide very kind of blank. And it's because I'm gonna be screen sharing a few things, right? When it comes to the first thing, which is consistency, this is where I see a lot of brands actually fall short. Why? Because to achieve consistency, you need a few things. You need a system and process in place to ensure you're able to hit deadlines and pump out email content on a consistent basis without compromising on quality, which a lot of the time it's like the full-time job of like 2-3 people. And that can be quite hard to build, especially if you're a founder that maybe you only have like maybe 2 to 10 employees on your team and they all have distributed roles, right? And the main thing is, when it comes to growing an e-com brand, your time as the founder is much better leverage focusing on growing your top of funnel, because that's going to be the thing that can 10x the brand, whereas email marketing can only add 20 to 75% of revenue, which again, that sounds significant, but if you're doing like 100K a month, it's not going to be the thing that takes you guys to $1 million a month, right? Which is why a lot of brands choose to outsource to agencies like mine, just because we're able to produce high quality of content on a consistent basis and also build the flows, maintain it, and basically just be your outsourced email marketing department, so you don't have to actually build it in-house. So essentially, to maintain and achieve consistency, the most efficient way I've seen to do this is just by building a really simple to follow email marketing content calendar system. So the system that we use is going to be hosted on Notion, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So right now, this is like all of the brands that we work with. You can see we work with quite a few brands, and this is all of the campaigns that we completed recently, right? You can see that for this brand, we're sending 2 to 3 campaigns every single week, and we essentially create like a Notion calendar with each of the campaign angles. And in here, we write the copy, we link the Figma, get the design done by our design team, and then actually publish it to the list. Obviously, there's like client approvals, etc. Like we make sure the clients are happy. And this way, if you just like have some sort of marketing calendar in place for your brand, of course, it doesn't have to be hosted on Notion. It could be on Monday, Trello. It doesn't really matter. The idea is to have something that's organized with tight deadlines so that your team can actually follow it. If you want to just replicate this exact calendar, by the way, if you sign up to my mailing list, I'll email you the template so you can just like clone it on Notion and use it for yourself. I'll also attach like a video tutorial about how to actually navigate this, because it can get pretty complex, because we've created templates so that you could just literally click email campaign, it'll build out the template for you. You can assign it to the relevant team members in terms of, you can assign the copy, design, status, etc. Like I'll give you guys this template if you just sign up to the mailing list as like a opt-in bonus, right? So if you have a good email calendar, it's going to be so much easier for you guys to achieve consistency. When it comes to relevant segmentation, this is where it kind of gets a bit more nuanced, because being able to identify the right segments to send to, you need a lot more understanding around your audience, how to actually customize the segments and actually target that specific subset of your list, as well as attach relevant content. But if you're a smaller brand and you don't really have the capabilities or the expertise to actually do this in-house right now, I'll just give you a really simple rule of thumb. Make sure your deliverability protocols are in place in terms of your dedicated sending domains, your DMARCs are set up, because since February, it's imperative you have these things set up. Otherwise, your emails are most likely going to go to spam for Gmail and Yahoo because of their sending changes. But if you just make sure to do that, consistently sending to last 90-day engage should generally get you like 60 to 75% of the way there, I would say, right? So, just create your engaged segments and you're basically good to go. Now, in terms of producing great content, right? This is where our, not to, toot my own horns a little bit, but I'll show you some of the email content that we produced last year for the brands that we worked with. So you can see this file. This is a swipe file of well over 250 email designs that we released for our brands that we were working with last Q1 in 2023. I couldn't keep updating this because this file takes around 5 minutes to load, but you can see we worked with basically every niche under the sun: hoverboards, baby products, fashion, more fashion, cosmetics, jewelry. We've worked with everything, hair products. But basically, if you want access to this as a swipe file to draw inspiration from, because you'll see that every single email have things in common, right? Logo's always at the top. The buttons kind of always stay the same because you want to brand it right. We always have banner images. How we arrange copy is kind of similar for each brand. Of course, there are nuances when it comes to, arranging benefits like this versus like this, etc. But if you get access to this, you'll be able to access all of the different elements that we've essentially built and draw inspiration from that. And again, I'll send this to you if you just sign up to my mailing list, right? It's actually a really good deal. I also pump out weekly content on how to actually do email marketing to my list as well as just holistic e-com growth things that we discover along the way, and split testing data as well that we produce as an agency every single week. So essentially, if you just have the swipe file, it'll make your content creation life a lot easier. So sign up to the mailing list if you want access to that. That's basically it when it comes to building out amazing campaigns. If you just do what I said in this video, if you focus on nailing all three of these things, you're gonna have pretty solid email marketing, I'll be honest. The main thing is all of these things take quite a bit of time, because you can see just producing a nice piece of content, it's gonna take a couple hours, right? And we do that multiple times a week for every single brand that we work with, which is why if you run an e-com business and you feel like you don't have time for this, or you feel a bit overwhelmed, you could just book in a call and I'll be able to tell you exactly what kind of numbers and revenue benchmarks we can achieve for you and outsource it to us. I've tried to make this tutorial as simple as possible so you don't feel super overwhelmed, but this is what every single brand needs, especially if you want to scale, because as you scale, your cost per acquisition will go up in terms of acquiring customers through paid ads, and having good email marketing will really help with increasing your blended ROAS, which will enable long-term scale. So if you want to hop on a call with me, book in the call, link in the description, and I'd love to talk to you very soon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.